Hey everybody, this is Tina and Holly, and welcome to our channel, In the Now, in the Know. And this is where we're going to bring you all sorts of educational videos and meditations, just really any videos that inspire us, that will help inspire your spiritual growth and development. Now, today we're going to be talking chakras, and we're going to start with the root chakra. And make sure that you like and you subscribe and you hit the notification bell, because we are going to bring you a full series on the chakra system. So of course, today we're going to start with the root chakra, which is the first of the 7 sort of main chakras. And that's what we're going to be touching on today. So yeah, so Holly, what is your first inkling that we want to talk about on the root chakra?
All right. Well, welcome, guys. It's fun to have you guys here. I'm so excited that you're ready to take your journey into the chakras, the chakra system in general. We hear so much about it. Some of you probably don't understand how to use it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to outline it for you today. So again, Tina explained the root chakra, some good things to do with balancing the root chakra. We're going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about imbalances and how to tell if you are balanced as well. So you're going to get a full scope today, really, of how to properly go within, be able to kind of swim along, that chakra system and that energy system, that those centers there, and be able to actually explore and heal for yourself. So number one, let's go ahead and talk about the root chakra. What does the root chakra entail? What does it cover for you? What are some telltale signs if you want to work on the root chakra, or maybe things that are coming up for you in life and you're like, hey, maybe I feel this way, maybe it's root chakra work you need to go in and do. So do you want to bring up any key points, Tina, about root chakra?
Yeah. So, I mean, when we're first talking about the root chakra, the sort of keywords that people are going to hear is grounding our energy to Mother Earth, safety, stability, our basic needs, our really basic human needs being met. So those are kind of all the little keywords that you hear. But what does that actually mean? What does safety, stability, and grounding actually mean? And like you said, how do we identify if it's something that we need to work on or not? So when I'm talking root chakra, I'm always talking about, or I should say, when I'm talking grounding, yes, it has to deal with grounding our energy, our little energy, into the big energy of Mother Earth. But you also have to think a bit, I sort of compare it to a house. This is your foundation, right? Your root system not only grounds you and connects you to Mother Earth, but it sort of keeps you from toppling over, right? The plant isn't falling over, the tree isn't falling over, because it's rooted into Mother Earth. It is your foundation. And that is the same with the chakra system. It is your foundational, that is why we call it the base. It is the starting point. So you want that to be really, really firm. So all the other work you're going to do on top of it, foundation, has stronger stability. So that's really what I'm talking about, sort of underneath all of these keywords of grounding, foundations. I really want to say the word foundations.
Yes, I love that. Definitely the building blocks to the pieces. If you're going to go up, there's only one way. You have to build that foundation, those stepping stones for yourself. So I think that's beautiful as well. Grounding is something that you hear a lot about, the root chakra. Of course, it is so vital that you do ground, but like Tina's saying, in so many different ways, not in just maybe that linear way, but just so many different ways. And now there is scientific proof about grounding as well. There's been a lot of studies about this, actually. And when you look into it and explore it, you'll notice that when you go outside and ground, now this means that you can walk barefoot in the grass. Yeah. You can even put towels in between your feet if that's not comfortable for you, swimming, tons of different things, putting your back against a tree, being out in nature, guys. These are all different techniques of grounding. It doesn't just have to be walking with your bare feet. But let me tell you, one of the major key things about grounding and walking barefoot is that when you're walking barefoot, the universe carries all of the negative electrons, right? Within the universe, you carry a lot of positive electrons, things around you every single day, like computers, Wi-Fi, TVs, these carry all these positive electrons. Well, when you're connecting with the universal energies and you're connecting with Earth, they call it earthing, technically. When you're doing these things, what's happening is the universe is technically sucking out that positive electrons from your body and really reproducing and putting back into your body that negative electron. So really, in turn, it's helping suck anything out of your body that you no longer need, out of your energy centers, any of that stuff from the core, the foundation. And that's what's helping you to actually be able to build a better foundation, solid, brick by brick, and allowing you to let go of fears, any kind of survival tactics that you might have learned, things like that, that you're still carrying with you to this day. So it's definitely vital, important, like Tina is saying, to ground. No matter how you choose to ground, at least do it for yourself once a day.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I want to touch on here, and everything that you said, I love, especially about, the positive and negative ions. And we're just surrounded by so many positive ions, and we don't get enough negative ones. So grounding is that important work. Or if you have like a Himalayan salt lamp, that is really, really effective for the negative ions. So yeah. And another reason why this work is so important, and why I speak on foundations, and why you really need to go out and do a grounding practice every day, is that people that are watching are probably inclined towards a spiritual path. And a lot of people get really, really into the idea of like a third eye awakening or a third eye opening. And yes, you have that capability, but if you start the work at the third eye, you're not going to have that strong foundation. Right? We're working in the earth's vibration, and spiritual messages, whether it be from your guides or spirit team, is working on another vibration, a higher vibration, we could say. Not that it's better, it's just a different vibration. And in order for that to make sense in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, you have to ground that information to earth and the earth energies. So it is very important not only to just feel our best every single day with the positive and negative ions, but to ground the information that we're receiving from spirit. So it has so many benefits, so many benefits. And yes, absolutely, like Holly said, it doesn't really matter that you're out there technically barefoot, but you do want to have some connection with earth. Like she said, if you have like a towel or something underneath the feet, that's fine. But if you're wearing something like a rubber sole sneaker, like that's preventing the grounding energy from coming in. So if you're sitting in something like a plastic chair with your sneakers on, you're getting some grounding benefit, but not nearly as much as if like your feet could even be, like she said, on a towel or on a piece of wood, something that is more along the natural side to have that energy exchange. So it doesn't have to be barefoot, but it does have to be something conducive to the energy exchange.
Yeah, that exchange. Yep, definitely. Any kind of conduit, anything that you know is not going to disturb the flow of that energy is perfect. I love that you said the rubber soles. I think leather soles would be preferable. I think in that sense, if you think about it, leather would be more of a natural item to use. So there's tons of different things. So I would just say use your discernment, use good judgment, when you're doing this, guys. It's really not that hard. Going outside, breathing the fresh air, and just smiling.
Go hug a tree.
Literally.
I do
We're
it
tree
every
huggers,
day.
guys. Okay, we are. So these are good little tips, tricks, little actual pinpoints, I would say, of what the root chakra is. Okay, that's just kind of like a base outline, we'll say, because there's so much more to discover within this, guys, that we're even discovering and exploring every single day. So allow yourself to explore and discover beyond just what you see each and every day. Just whatever your survival tactics are, guys, release those for yourselves. Move past that, move past fears, anxieties, worries. With that being said, we're going to probably move into how to tell if you have an imbalanced root chakra or if you are in balance, so that you can move along, move further up, and keep working on that. Or if you just feel like, hey, I need to do this specific work today on root. Is there anything that you want to start off with, Tina, about noticing if you are imbalanced?
Yes. So, I could talk all day. So if somebody has let's start with somebody who has a balanced root chakra. Okay. So like I said, we talked about grounding and, being like that sort of a very foundational aspect of it, but starting to move beyond that. Like I said, it also has to do with very earthly matters of safety, security, basic needs being met. And how that typically plays out in a lot of people's lives and how people see that is a lot of times in things like abundance issues, like I don't have enough money, where's the money coming from? or if you feel like you're not in a very stable, if you weren't in a very stable household growing up, that can really be effective in the root chakra. A lot of things ages 0 to 7, if you look back at that time frame, are going to give you a big hint. So like if your parents said things like money don't grow on trees, or you were always moving from 0 to 7, that can create a lot of instability in the root chakra, and that can start to play out in your adult life, right? So now that like I'm an adult, I feel like I don't have enough money, or I feel like, you know, everything is going to collapse in my home, or I can't seem to like find the just sort of, again, that security, that homey feeling within myself, no matter where I am. It doesn't matter that you have your dream house, or, you know, the physical house that you're in is like the one that you want to be living in the rest of your life. Can you create that homey feeling no matter where you are? If not, you probably have an imbalance there. I know a lot of deeply spiritual souls that don't feel like Earth is their home. And it's really a root chakra stabilization issue. So if you feel like home is not your Earth, you can't find that sweet homey feeling anywhere, you probably need to look at your root chakra. You need to look at the illusion of there's not enough money. Okay. Did you drink clean water today? Did you eat a meal today? Do you technically have a roof over your head? Then you have enough, like I said, right? The basic needs, they are truly met. And in this moment, you are safe. And everything beyond that is programming. It's things that have been ingrained in us. And it's starting to look, again, starting to need to look at the root chakra problem. Another way this could play out is the need to hoard material goods because we're afraid we're going to lose it, right? If I got $100, I really need to hold on to it really, really tightly, because if I let it go, it may never, ever come back. Or, you know, we see people literally hoarding goods, like buying things on sale and just not wanting to let them go because they're hanging on for that time when they're not going to have it. And I think we see this, you know, I saw it a lot with like grandparents and great grandparents, right? Because they had significant trauma in their life when there literally wasn't a time when they could feed themselves, or there literally wasn't enough money. So they began to hoard things because they developed that safety and security issue around the root chakra. So that's another way to play out. So to sum it up, if you can't find that homey feeling, if you're feeling like you don't have enough and yet you do, those are telltale signs of like needing to work on the root chakra.
Wow, I really love that. I love those explanations. That's definitely easy to digest, which we love. And it just puts it into a basic perspective for somebody to say, yeah, I can actually connect with that. I can understand that. I can see where that could cause some kind of distraction, fear, anxiety to be pulled out in those situations. And I even love the specific stories that you used, because they actually touch home for me. Yeah. Even in a sense, I can even say, yeah, you know, both of those stories touch home for me. I had a sense of, especially in my early 20s, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I didn't know where I wanted to be. And I found myself moving all the time. And yes, as a child, I moved a lot too. That was something that I was experiencing. And then one day I did have to sit down and I was like, okay, what are you truly unhappy with? Because you move here, you move there, you move here, but you're still just as unhappy. And it's not creating this fulfillment you're running and looking for. And I was like, wow, you know, I'm never going to find that until I'm fulfilled within myself. And this is home, like you said, until I realized that I was the pillar of my own home, that root chakra was just going to be unbalanced until I was willing to sit down and say, okay, I'm ready to actually balance this, build this solid foundation and be okay with this. So I love that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've done a lot of root chakra work too.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't necessarily about like not being able to find home. Security has often been like my big thing, like just kind of like unreasonable fears in my life. And that, you know, that sense of security really does lead into the root chakra as well. Like from ages 0 to 7, I had this really weird belief that I literally thought like the devil was going to come and get me at night. And that
oh, like, yeah.
played out into my whole life, that like just kind of irrational fear. So security has been a big role just ever from that point on into my life, until I sat down and like really thought about like, hey, well, this is really stemming from that irrational fear like in childhood.
Yeah.
So I know I've had root chakra issues in a little bit different way, but yeah,
Yeah,
I've
it's
done a
funny
lot
to
of
think
work.
about those things now, now that we're more educated, more in the now, in the know,
Yeah.
of understanding ourselves and really what's going on within ourselves. So if you are a young listener or a young watcher or something like that, and you're getting rolling into this, do what Tina's saying. Take time to actually go back, because you are closer to those memories right now anyways. And so it would be easier for you to probably bring those back up and be able to understand them and start to work through them now, before you get them too intertwined, too entangled, and you start losing little bits and fragments, and you start to suppress that energy, because it'll be a lot easier for you when it's a little bit raw. It's easier when it's raw, right?
Yeah, I think
um
so.
yeah, I love all of that. Definitely fears, definitely insecurities, definitely panic, worries, anything that cycles for you. And what Tina's saying is you need to pay attention to the cycles, because they won't stop. Like I was just saying too, until I had to realize that I was home, it didn't stop for me. Until Tina realized the devil wasn't coming for her. She felt like she had that unsecure part of herself. But now that we took the time to dive in, as you can see, we've moved past that, and then there's more and more and more, that you'll start to uncover about yourself, and you'll work on, and you'll start to become more balanced. So now we can actually talk about, understanding the differences, and knowing when you're balanced and imbalanced, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like you said, it's all about, and it's when you look back at those things, it's from non-judgment, even especially when it comes to things on ourselves or parents or other people, like they were just doing their best that they could do, right? I could say, yeah, my abundance issue came from the fact that like all my teachers pretty much told me I'm not smart enough, right? But, like I'm not
Yeah,
smart enough to make
it's
it
true.
or
It's
whatever.
true.
But
It's totally.
like that's the way a child's eyes perceived it, when in reality what they were trying to do is help me along my way in my education. So nobody
Yes.
verbally said, Tina, you're not smart enough. They said, let's put you in a classroom that's going to benefit where you're at now. So
Where you're at.
child's eyes, I'm not smart enough to stay in this classroom. Reality, I needed a different type of help. So when you're looking back, don't try to form judgment around that. I'm like, God, I wish they didn't say that. Just try to see it just for what it was, and in the context and perspective that you can see it. Say like, okay, yeah, that hurt my feelings. Yeah, I've clearly built some trauma around that. I'm going to hold that in compassion until it feels a little bit lighter and a little bit easier. And that might not happen the first, second, or third go around, but coming into awareness holds such deep power. Because like you said, the first time you became aware of like okay, I'm not feeling that homey feeling, it probably didn't get fixed like that. It wasn't
Oh no.
overnight, but I'm sure it felt really great to just be like, okay, well, I'm aware of the situation now. And so the next time when it pops up, I don't have to make the same choices I was making in the past around that subject. So just
Yes.
power and awareness.
And I love that you say that it's not just 1, 2, or 3 times, because I still have these moments that pop up for me. And so it's still a battle to this day. Now, like Tina's saying, I brought awareness to the subject. So now I can say, okay, I can acknowledge the feeling. I can honor the feeling. I can understand that that's how you feel internally, I guess. But it doesn't mean that I have to get up and have to run towards that and have to run towards this and I have to do all of these crazy things. So what I do is just sit in silence. I sit in meditation. I ground myself again, right? And I remind myself that I'm exactly where I should be, right on the right path. And that if I need to go to that next journey or that next house or whatever it is, then that will come upon my path eventually. And so you just sit with that. So learning how to bring awareness and sitting with that energy, it does take time. And I'm glad that you said that.
Those are really the big things of the root chakra, of course, grounding, safety, security, fears, traumas. Now, something that a lot of people don't really get into, but is still a big problem, is that we tend to forget that we can have overactivity in a chakra as well. And that isn't so beneficial. So when you have an overactive root chakra, sometimes you can be too grounded, a little maybe too materialistic. And I'm going to say right here, material goods aren't a bad thing, right? not a bad thing at all. But if that's your only focus in life, that isn't a good balance either. So I'm not downing material goods, right? It's totally fine to want to strive for material goods, but someone that is too materialistic and is maybe a little bit too grounded can lend to its own problems as well. And a lot of time that is that sort of hoarding mentality, or I'm going to work myself to death because what I have is never enough, right? We have millionaires and billionaires out there that could retire tomorrow, but they choose to just accumulate, no matter what it's doing to their personal life or how it's affecting their health. And if they were doing it for the love of their work, I don't think that would be a problem if they had everything else in balance and checks, right? But just working yourself to death can be sort of that overactivity of the root chakra. Or if you've been doing a ton of grounding work and in turn you're starting to feel lethargic because you're so grounded and there's no balance, of course, that can lend some issues as well.
Oh yeah, love that. Love that. The materialistic thing too, stemming from that security, that survival mode, that you don't have enough. And that's what Tina's touching on. I love that point too. Definitely greediness, materialistic viewpoints, but losing passion too, losing passion or losing like a sense of purpose, maybe like she was saying earlier, like you don't feel like you belong to earth, things like that. Signs of imbalance, signs of overactive, technically is what the term would be used. All of these little things, fears around money for sure, fears around creativity as well, just fears around like lots of things, anxiety, or maybe you are creating that cycle or continuing that cycle, I should say, of it didn't happen in the past, so it won't happen in the future kind of thing. And you just stay still and you're not going anywhere. So really good points to touch on. Getting yourself out of that overactive chakra, it's almost the same as getting yourself into a balance, but instead you want to start to remove your focus so solely from grounding or rooting or being so stuck in this mindset, allowing yourself to kind of open up again, reminding yourself that your brain is literally a computer for you to store information and utilize, so you can open up again and say, I'm going to be free, and I'm going to allow myself to start to uncover why I'm fearful or uncover why I'm not moving anywhere anymore, bringing awareness to the fact that I have not gone anywhere, or I feel lethargic, trying to raise that vibration back up, because lower chakra is going to be a lower vibration chakra. So if you're going to think about that, if you're feeling that lower vibration, it's probably your body is telling you that you have some kind of imbalance in the lower chakra system. So pay attention to your body always and just listen to what it needs.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's the same process, whether it's an over and underactive chakra problem. It's just awareness, just total awareness, and like what's happening, what are my patternings, and why do I feel the need to do the things that I'm doing in the way that I'm doing them. And it sounds so simple. I mean, the formula is simple, but getting down in there and actually doing it can feel tricky and difficult, and that's okay, because it will feel tricky and difficult at first. Now, touching on the lethargy, I just want to say that is not always a root chakra problem. Sometimes that's a crown chakra problem too. So
and third eye too.
So if you're finding like you're like, okay, well, I'm really lethargic, but nothing else is fitting for me, then you probably don't have a root chakra imbalance. You're looking for an accumulation of these things. You're like, okay, she said about 3 things that, are really sticking with me, 3-4 things. Yeah, then you probably have an imbalance. If we said like one thing that, well, I'm feeling lethargic, or maybe I'm hoarding a little, too much, or I'm a little too materialistic. If it's just one thing, you probably don't have an imbalance. We're looking more for a few of these symptoms. So don't, freak out if it's just the one thing.
Yes. And plus you're going to bring awareness to the patterns, guys. So that's what she's saying. If it's just one thing, don't freak out. But if you're noticing that it's patterns of continuous things and they do fit, take note, guys, bring awareness to self.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, the bringing awareness is really the biggest part for any chakra work. But if we're talking just solely root chakra, of course, I love to connect in, like we were saying in the beginning, connecting into Mother Earth, and that really being really, really good practice to start off with. There are so many other things you could do, whether it be meditation, which we'll have a meditation for you guys very shortly for the root chakra, or it could be, just meditating with the color red, or eating really nice, like rooty vegetable foods, like
Yes, sustainable
potatoes,
vegetables. Yeah.
carrots, like those sorts of things are really, really good and supportive for the root chakra as well. But like I said, I think that those are all things that are like really good support systems. But I think the deep work is the fast track work, and it might be more uncomfortable to like sit with yourself and have an honest conversation with yourself than to like wear the color red and eat a potato. I promise you guys, it is going to be like a lot faster
that's
way.
so funny you say that, because I've had conversations with people about eating, but it's sustainable foods, guys. It's not just any old, it's not pizza. Don't grab pepperonis because you want to eat something red, guys. This has got to be sustainable for the body. It needs to really fulfill your body, give it nutrients, vitamins. That's what your body needs, right? And so I love that you're saying that, because some people say, oh, I ate something today and it didn't really work, and I'm like, how do you know it didn't work? How do you know? Is it just because your belief that it didn't work? I think it's just a magical potion people want. They want this magical potion, and then it's like, ding, oh yeah, and then the inner self will say, yeah, root chakra balance, keep going. It doesn't work like that, guys. You have to do the work. You have to visualize it, want it. And that's why Tina's saying, eat the red foods, wear the red clothes, meditate on colors of red. That's going to bring your awareness back to the root chakra. And that's why those little things are there for you guys. It's not just to be a magic pill to fix it. And that's why we're saying, use these things. I love that you said the fast track way is to do the healing. If everybody wants the fast track way, everybody wants the answer right now, they want it healed today. And you can do that if you go within and explore yourself. So a lot of you aren't going to want to hear that answer, but that's the truth. And that's what all of us out here speaking on this have done and realized that needs to be done to get to that fast track. Is there any other points that we want to touch on? Anything that's like super important that maybe people haven't heard about before, or anything that you think that we really should touch on today?
I think that we hit a lot of really good things. Like you said, I think it's just looking at our patterning and seeing, where we're feeling a little bit stuck when it comes to the theming of the root chakra, whether we are feeling stuck or not. And if we are, okay, like, well, why am I coming to this? Why is it feeling this way? And it's the thing that I do want to touch on, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the root chakra, but any chakra. You don't need to be able to pinpoint it like Holly and I said, like, okay, okay, I did move a lot when I was a kid, or I'm not having that homey feeling, or like, okay, like I thought the devil was coming to get me. Like, you don't need to be able to pinpoint it to like one exact moment, like this is what catalysted my trauma, this was the catalyst. It doesn't have to be that way. The only thing that it needs to be is that I'm falling into this pattern over and over again, and I don't want to do it anymore. You don't have to pinpoint.
Wow, I love that. I think that's super important point. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, because what Tina's saying is, if you get too in your mind about what it was, the actual reasoning, you're going to lose track of what you're doing, guys. You're going to lose focus of the cycle, the pattern that just really needs to be balanced and healed and move on from that. So I think so often your mind wants to figure out everything down to the core, the nitty gritty. It wants to know the details and why and where and when, right? So don't even worry about that. Tina's saying, push past that stuff. If the brain says, well, we need to figure out why, oh, it has to be trauma from this, what you're going to find is that you're coming into a blame game. You're going to start blaming everything and pulling collectively. That's another cycle, another pattern, right? That's not something else for you to be healed. So just remember to push past the mind when it says, oh, this or that, and just say all that needs to be done. The only important thing is the healing and the awareness. That's it. The rest of it is just was for the experience for me to get to this point today. That's it.
Yeah. And the last thing, I guess, I want to circle back to where we started with grounding, because it is really important work, especially when our lives can feel really chaotic, whether it be just the fast-paced reality that we're all living in, or just like the energies of the universe, or just like feeling icky, or whatever. Grounding your energy is really important. That's why Holly said do it every single day, because it really can help help you take a deep breath, slow down, in order to do the deeper work. Because if you're in fight or flight mode, you're not going to be able to sit with yourself and, really look at like, where are my patternings? What is, not working for me? You need to ground your energy. You need to get a little less frazzled, and then you can do the work. So it really, we are really circling back to grounding because it's step one.
Oh yeah, love it. Love it.
Yeah.
I think one last thing that I just want to say is, guys, when you're getting into this, the first thing you're going to notice is your mind is going to want to say, no, it's too hard. It's too much work. That's not true. That's just what the mind believes it. Again, like I said, it's going to reach for those things, those situations. So push past that even. Don't let that stop you from getting balanced, guys. Don't let that stop you from living your life. Like Tina's saying, be happy. Feel like you have a solid foundation. And one thing I want to say too is if you feel like you can't get outside nature, because I know a lot of us are inside, indoors now, throw on some meditation music with rivers, waterfalls, bird sounds, nature sounds. That will also help you get into that mode. Okay. The meditations, like she's saying, we're going to bring you some of those, but there's others that you can visualize yourself in nature if you can't get there, and you can absolutely feel yourself there just as if it was real. So do these things for yourself, guys. Don't let your mind stop you from moving forward in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And there's been studies that show there actually isn't any difference between sort of self-generated emotions and naturally occurring emotions. The mind, the body, they really can't tell the difference between the two.
I love
So
that.
if you can close your eyes and auto-generate yourself into a field, body mind doesn't know the difference. You're literally like, to your mind, you're in the field.
You're in the field.
Whether your physical body is there or not. But some other ways, like if you have trouble, if you can't quite visualize it, because I know that is kind of a learned practice as well. House plants, crystals, I've heard of people like just getting, this sounds a little weird, but like they get like buckets of gravel and like earth and soil, and they bring it inside, and when they're feeling ungrounded, they just put their hands in the bucket.
Yes.
There are
I
ways
do
around
love to do that with crystals. Like little crystal chips or little tumbles. You can just put your hand in there. I like to do that. Some days I have like a tumble bucket. So if you guys want, grab some tumbles and just put them in a little bucket. And every day or some days I'll just go over there and like run my hands through it. I just pick up a couple and look at them and just like feel what energy is coming off of them, like how I feel about them. And then I like just place them back in there. But I like to like really connect with, different elements, of course. Okay. So elements are also going to help you to connect with nature, fire, water, wind, those kind of things, earth, of course. But just little things like that to help you, little things to remind you, to bring it back. So I love that you said crystals, you guys know, and if you don't, I love crystals too. So that's something that I like to utilize quite often throughout my day. I have them spread out throughout the house just as a reminder to bring me back, to work with them and those kind of things, and to energetically really connect with them in that vibration. So those are important things, but there's so many other things. I'm sure Tina's going to cover those that you guys can use too.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, like you said, the crystals are great, but like you can go outside and pick up a stick, right? And that can be your grounding stick. Literally, it sounds funny and jokey, but it's not. Like anything that you pick up and you hold and you give an intention to, or inspiration to, that can be yours. Again, look back to childhood, especially when we're talking about the root chakra. You went and you just rummaged around and you picked up a stick, and that was your magic wand, right? And every time you picked up that magic wand, you were magical. And the same can happen now. You can go outside, you can get, you can pick up just a random rock, and that can be your grounding rock. You can pick up a stick, you can bring it inside, and that can be your grounding stick. You give the power, you through intention. So it can be anything, as long as you have the intention that whenever I pick this up, I'm going to connect to earth energy and feel grounded. That's all you need.
That's all you need. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. You gotta use some oils too. Teas. I think teas are a great thing. Going back to the kind of the food thing, guys, teas are really good too. I like to drink unsweet tea a lot as well, but just other kinds of teas and elixirs and things like that could really be good for you too. So utilize and try everything you guys can.
Yep. Oils, any sort of root oils, again, with that theme of the root chakra, root oils are really, really good for grounding, and those are so versatile because you can diffuse them in your home. You can,
Yes.
you can get the jewelry with the little volcanic beads and just sprinkle some in there. So oils are really versatile for that. And then when it comes to things like crystals or oils, or even, like I said, the magic stick that you're going to go pick up today now, when you're working on your root chakra, you have the option to just hold those items. I have the preference of holding the items in my left hand because that is technically like more of your receiving hand. You tend to receive a lot through the left. Some people receive better through the right, but most people are going to receive better through the left. Or if you're laying down, you can place a crystal or the stick or whatever it is on your root chakra, which is located at the base of the spine, and just have it sort of rest there while you meditate. And that is just a really easy thing to do.
Yeah, love that. I usually always rub my stuff in my hands or put it on my lap, like she's saying. I have physically, for me, I love to have that connection. I have to be touching it. So, excuse me. You can also have things in front of you, I guess, in an altar space if that works for you as well. But physically, for me, I love to touch it too. And those kind of things, pick up those things, set the intentions in them. It's so important. Even if it's a stick, like Tina's saying, set your intention that is your like grounding stick, go ahead and walk forward and find other little things that you like to, incorporate into your day-to-day walk, whatever you're doing.
Yep. And the other location is between the feet. If we were like specifically talking like location, like Holly said, like you can just hold it or have it near you, and really like your auric field, your energy extends pretty far. But the actual like portal of the root chakra is located at the base of the spine, and the nadis in the feet are kind of like an alternative to base of the spine. But yeah, you can just hold it or have it in your energy field, and you're gonna pick that up. Yeah,
love that. Yeah, love it. Okay, guys, I think that covers it for root chakra today.
Yeah.
We're going to be bringing you more chakra videos, and we are so excited. We are hoping again to bring you some future videos in the future, but again, look out for that chakra root grounding meditation video, or whatever it is that you want to utilize it for. It'll be wonderful. So join us for that. Let us know what you guys think about this video, how you guys feel about it after listening, if you gained any extra knowledge or anything maybe that you'd been looking for or missing even. So let us know what you think, guys. We want to hear that. And don't forget to go subscribe and like the page in the know with me and Tina. We are so excited to have you guys.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Like Holly said, I hope you got a lot from today. Put in the comments how you liked it. And in the description box, we're going to have all the links to connect with us further. So our social pages will all be in there. And yeah, we'll see you for the next video. And we'll continue on very shortly with that meditation in the sacral chakra. So bye-bye.
All right. Bye.